सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं
Hari Om.
yes हरि ओम yes can someone recollect what is it that we saw last? I request all of you who can turn on the video feeds, please turn on the video feeds. If you do not turn on the video feeds, I will not ask again tomorrow. Yes, please. Anybody? Yes. Can someone recollect anything? Yes, please. Yes, Beenaji. Yes, please.
There's a steadfast determination, firm and unwavering, that is achieved with yoga, with a control over the mind and senses. That determination seeks the divine, is the sattvic, is in the sattvic mode. And
Sees
the
the divine,
steadfast
no? You said divine, isn't it?
seeks
Or
the
divine?
divine.
Divine.
The
Yeah.
divine.
Yes. Ji.
Steadfast willpower, which holds on to duty, pleasures, wealth out of attachment and desire for rewards, is the determination of passion. And that person who, with an unintelligent and selfish motive, who dreams, sleeps, is lazy, has fears, grief, delusions, is said to have a tamasic determination. And the three kinds of happiness or pleasures which the embodied soul rejoices and can reach the end of all sufferings, that is a sattvic pleasure, is what seems like venom at first, but tastes like nectar towards the end. It is generated by pure intellect and knowledge. Happiness in the mode of passion, when there's attachment to the senses, seems like happiness in the beginning, but poison towards the end. And that happiness which covers the nature of the self from beginning to end, which is obtained from sleep, laziness, negligence, total disconnect to reality, is said to be in the mode of tamas.
That
So
is initially and so, and in the end also, you don't realize it. It appears in an illusion, you are thinking it is nectar. Because Rajasic will allow you to identify afterwards, I was wrong. Then somewhere you'd start tasting the ill effects of Rajasic nature. But Tamasic nature, it is very rare, unless the divine intervenes or Guru. The realization does not come. Lifetimes go in that. Yes, please go.
and no person or living being on earth or higher celestial abodes is free from the influence of the three modes of nature. The duties of the Varnas, that is the Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, are distributed according to their qualities or nature and not by birth. Each
Ji.
of us have a distinct swabhava. The Brahmin is known for his qualities of patience, tolerance, integrity, performing penance, seeking knowledge, wisdom, and maintaining self control. The Kshatriya is known for his valor, strength, skill in weaponry, resolve never to retreat from the battlefield, accept all challenges in life, and is benevolent and has leadership qualities. The Vaishya is known for his work or services in agriculture, dairy farming, trade, and commerce. They may also be skilled.
Vanijya.
Sorry.
Yeah, Vanijya or any type of commerce.
And they may also
Artists
be,
also.
yeah, they may also be skilled artisans, sculptors, craftsmen, and serving through work is the natural duty of those with the quality of the Shudras. They aspire to serve humanity for Lok Sangram. And by fulfilling their duties with their innate qualities, a person can attain perfection or become one with the Supreme Soul. So Krishna says by performing one's duty with natural swabhava or due, he is indirectly worshipping the creator of all living entities. By such a performance of work with full faith and devotion, a person can easily attain supreme consciousness.
Ji.
And it
Absolutely.
is better to do one's own dharma, even though imperfectly, than to do another's dharma perfectly. By doing work with their own swabhava, it it is the best thing to do, like to
Yeah,
realize
sorry.
by doing all the work which with the qualities of one swabhava is the best thing for a person to do to uh, get the union with the divine.
Attain perfection. Yes, yes, absolutely, Binagi. So again, just for a affirmation that just like all varnas, chatur varnas, which varna is more superior? It's like asking which table of the stool is more important. You take out one leg, what's going to happen? So it is something like that. It's according to the nature. I think this concept of division of labor is there in every organization, isn't it? And in management also. Any organization cannot run without division of labor. Only in organizations it's quite rigid because of not the flaw of the organization, because of flaw of human nature. Same thing. Jadurvarna was flexible. Idam Brahmam, idam Kshatram is what our great Parashurama had talked about. I am the Brahmin, I am the Kshatriya. We saw Kulas changing in the Rig Veda. Kula of Shunashepa changed. His father didn't like him. Unwanted son he was. Another Rishi took over and he attained a new one. He's belonging to that Rishi. So it is flexible according to Swabhava. Why is Swabhava important? We all have a Swabhava, isn't it? Did we choose the Swabhava? Came in lottery, no? We didn't have a choice. It just came to us. We were all given a different Swabhava. So it is given by the divine means that will become our means to reach the divine also. We have to identify a Swabhava, use it to reach the divine, and ultimately, maybe there might be a time when this dharma, which we understand also, might become limited. When will that happen? When we raise to that higher consciousness. Until then, we have to use our what we understand, our understanding of Swadharma, because Krishna says Swe Karma, means according to your own dharma, you do your karma. Just go on, is what Krishna is saying, and it's okay. For the first time, the great yogi who is a perfectionist, the one who is Mr. Perfect in everything, he says it's okay. Faults are okay. Why? He gives the example of fire, smoke, and fire. Smoke comes from what? From the brilliant fire only. And what is the smoke doing? It's masking the brilliance of the same fire. So just like that, giving that example, Krishna gives the best examples like the Padma Patra or this and so many. So this one is one classic one. It's all right. Best thing is how many of us learn to cycle without falling? Nobody. We had to fall. We had to fall once, twice, thrice. Sometimes we had to get hurt. But then only we learned, isn't it? So initially, when you begin, there's going to be some fault or the other. That's all right. But we cannot use that as a kavach. I am human, so I make mistakes. Allow me to make mistakes because I am human. How many of us will tell that to our doctor? You are human doctor, so you can make mistakes. No problem. Tolerance is very high. Acha, acha, wrong kidney operated? No problem. I don't think anybody will tolerate that. Or a security guard allows theft to happen right under his nose. First thing we will do is we will, without reading Gita, also we will start reminding him of Swadharma. You, as a security, should understand your Swadharma. You should not sleep. What happened to our tolerance? What happened to our humanity? What happened to humans only make some mistakes? That all is good for ourselves. So that is why I also have to start practicing Gita because practicing Gita is more difficult than talking about Gita. So that this is what we can say theory. Then the practical period should start, isn't it, after the theory? So let us see. Krishna has introduced that yes, faults are okay. It still feels difficult to understand. Is it really Krishna? Or is it a game he's playing with Arjuna? Because so far, yoga karma sukhaushalam. He says perfection in work is spirituality. He gives us that great example of Janaka. Raja Janaka's example is given, then he gives his own example. Look at me, as if it's like we feel, Krishna, you, how can we try to emulate you? You are on a totally different league. But he says, no, we are in the same league. Arjuna, you and I have also taken many births. You also. Only you are not able to even understand it because you are having a very myopic vision. I am conscious. That's why I am Krishna and you are Arjuna. Maybe when you become conscious, you will also realize you too have that same consciousness. So let us continue now. Krishna says, असक्त बुद्धि सर्वत्र जितात्मा विगत स्पृहः नैष्कर्म्य सिद्धिं परमां संन्यासेनाधिगच्छति. You see, this Adhyay began, no, with what is sannyasa's real meaning. Arjuna said, Krishna, tell me again, what is sannyasa? Why is Krishna asking again and being asked again and again same questions? Is because we have a tendency as humans, we have a tendency to get lost in its gunas and then we forget. Again, Krishna is going to be asked after Gita is over, please tell me the Gita again. Krishna will say, I cannot tell you the same one. Yoga Yukto. That time I was in that layer of the divine consciousness and you were different. Now you have changed. I have passed on that wisdom. So now it will be different. So we get another version of the Gita, which is a shorter version. It's called the Anugita. Let us continue anyway. Krishna says, असक्त बुद्धि सर्वत्र जितात्मा विगत स्पृहा नैष्कर्म्य सिद्धिं परमां संन्यासेनाधिगच्छति. When the soul is conquered with detachment, leaving no room for desire or any attachment, man transcends regular actions through renunciation, and every action is performed with impeccable perfection. So I think yesterday Raviji was saying we should have some attachment towards family because if you do for family, then only you will be able to do for others. But I think throughout the Gita, we've learned that is what Dhritarashtra did, isn't it? He said, I am my family. For my family, I want to allow this to happen. Let Duryodhana do some mistakes. I will correct it later on. That becomes a problem. The yogi is using the same scale for Mitra, also for Ripu. We saw that Vatsama Loshtashma Kanchanaha. Clay, gold, stone, all alike he's treating. Then next one he said is not differentiating between others and himself. Meaning that is vairagya, that is a detachment. When you have detachment only, you are going to have what is called the asakta buddhi. Your buddhi is not going to be disturbed. What happens when buddhi is brashta? You are destroyed. As simple as that. Somebody tells you something unfair and it disturbs you. You'll say, no, no, because that person told me I got disturbed. But no, what has happened? Because you've got disturbed, you've allowed that force in that unfair person to succeed and you have fallen. And sometimes when you fall, you can't rise. At home or when you're playing with your siblings or you're having a friendly battle, it's okay. They'll allow you to stand up again. In the world, do we get second chances? Do we get third chances? No. Sometimes even one chance, which is a good chance, we don't get that. So we have to squeeze that in the life. We have to squeeze that moment. So something like, but for that we need asakta buddhi. Krishna says, well, this that person who has asakta buddhi, he has attained the state of a Jitendra or Jitatma in this shloka. He says, the one who has conquered his self. When the soul is conquered with detachment, leaving no room for desire or any attachment. Again, Krishna is saying, not the slightest room for attachment or desire. I love somebody. Can I have attachment for that person? I will have it because of Prakriti or because of human nature. But that attachment will be my undoing, or that attachment will be the barrier which is preventing me from realizing what is the full, true divine love. Because my own interference is taking place. So for loving better also we need to get detached. This is something we must understand. Same way people say praise us, criticize us, all of this thing we need to learn to cut that. We need to cut those strings which are going to make us weak. What happens then? What happens when nobody disturbs you when you're doing work? Anybody? When nobody disturbs you, you're doing some work. What happens then? Say you are a artist, you're drawing something, and wow, today my brother or sister never came, did not put some color onto my paper. What will happen? Yes, Binaji?
Productivity is at its best.
Productivity is at its best. Krishna is saying simple thing. When you are not allowing anybody, you can't become Hitler like and try to extinguish an entire race. And I don't want all of these people. These are the people who are going to disturb me. No, we cannot. We cannot do that. What we can definitely do is we can ensure that we are not disturbed by the other person. And when we are not disturbed by all the outer circumstances, what happens then? Then our actions transcend regular actions. We get closer to what is a siddhi, and that siddhi is called a Naishkarmya siddhi. It's actually a very tantric process. But the karma needs to be done. It's a very difficult thing. You have to slowly, slowly, slowly go. That is why it is, means one side it is imperfection, but the aspiration is perfection. We are not hiding in imperfection. We are just not being too harsh on ourselves because we are imperfect. Elders are allowing little mistakes to be made. What a beautiful situation it is for children. They're allowed to make some mistakes. And what are the children doing? Children are allowing the elders to lead. The children are trying to utilize the experience of the elders. Then what's going to happen? Then that transfer, knowledge transfer will take place, no? Otherwise, what's going to happen? Nothing. So this aspiration is always divinity. But in that aspiration, array, what happens if I did like this? What happens if I did like that? It's okay. One person before he had Shraddha to the Shraddha awoke, he had Dvesha. So much Dvesha that he went, I will not name the Murti of the Deva, but he broke the Murti of the Deva in anger. And then afterwards he's saying, what will I do? What prayashchit? I say, you are feeling bad, isn't it? That is enough prayashchit. Or do you think you have become so powerful and you have actually destroyed God? He said, no. No, but never again you are going to do that. You feel sad, you go ask Shamasva from your heart, whichever way you want. No need to look at a particular Kriya, I would say. But the fact that you are feeling from within now, after many years also, that you did this wrong, is itself your prayashchit. And now use that opportunity for going ahead. So all our flaws, it's all right. They happened. It's okay. But it's not okay for us to relax in that. We have to go ahead. One just random experience I had was in the ground. I was after during my college, I was going running. One man in his mid 40s, early 50s, he just came and he suddenly said, "This is not the right way to do exercise." I was like, I didn't ask him, but he said, "This is not like this," and he was telling me something which was good. And so, chalo, I said, let me listen. I'll learn something from him. So he said, this, like that. He told the same dialogue like Krishna. He said, गलती हुई तो चलेगा, no problem. See, you don't know, you're making mistake, it's okay. I was also happy he's now relaxed. Then he gave a second dialogue. But again, if I see you doing this mistake, I'll not spare you. I was like, hey Bhagavan, what have I subscribed to? Now is he going to come after me? So then I tried to avoid him. But that was a big point, is it? When you know you're wrong, you cannot continue doing that. That much consciousness must be there. We cannot claim a tamasic, shield. I'm human. I went. I was so surprised. Somebody was quoting great philosophy of share in our society. Only apartment system. Somebody did something very wrong, and one person was very wrongly treated. So I went to one person, elderly person. I told, no, no, it's human nature. I can't intervene. This is what is going to happen in the cycle of life. Means what is this? And that injustice will come to the same person. It was happening to one person, means it will happen to somebody else. There we cannot forget Swadharma. Imperfections cannot become one kind of disguise for us to continue. Being human, people say nobody wants the lower part of human nature. So why are we allowing it inside of us? That's what Krishna is talking about. Means mistakes are okay, but we have to understand that we are not going to settle with this. We are going to aim for the highest because low aim is a crime. Let us continue. Krishna says, Siddhim prapto yatha brahma तथाप्नोति निबोध मे समासेनैव कौन्तेय निष्ठा ज्ञानस्य या परा. How is it that the union with Brahma is gained? When is it that perfection is attained? O Arjuna, listen, for I shall now explain the most supreme knowledge that man can gain. This is Brahma Vidya, the secret of Brahma Vidya. The highest Krishna is saying. He's saying, I'll tell you. This is there in the Upanishads also. When will you realize it? Well, when you become one. And how to become one? Krishna is going to say this. First one, बुद्ध्या विशुद्धया युक्तो धृत्यात्मानं नियम्य च शब्दादीन् विषयान् त्यक्त्वा रागद्वेषौ युधस्य च. By cleansing and purifying the inner self and holding a firm control over oneself, by renouncing all objects of sounds and senses, by being bereft of anger and repulsive reflexes, So if you want to experience oneness with the divine, you'll have to shed this hatred. Again, another reason why we should not cultivate hatred. I had written, I'd seen a board of in a office of a government, in a government office, a person had written something. He had quoted, I think it was from the Bible or something about hate. The poison of hate the hate will poison the hater only. We are not Neelakantha that we can hold all the poison in our throat. That kind of Shakti only our Aradhya Bholinath is there, and he has the capacity also. What about all of us? Can we hold hate inside of us? No. He is divine because he's understood that at least we must learn. He also, it was a different aspect completely. That was actual Visha. This is a, what we can say, Tattvic Visha. It was something which kind of, which is not physical. That is something we must understand. It's not right. Holding firm control over oneself. We have to have that control. Again and again, Gita is telling us same principles. Why? Because this is the problem. We're not able to practice it. Practice is most important. If we don't practice it, we are not following the principles of the Gita. That should be who's going to check? Invigilator, external a monitor is going to come in. No, we are only going to, we have to look at us, ourselves. Nobody is going to see also. Only Rajasic person will feel everybody is watching me, so let me smile. Something like that. No, nothing. Nobody is going to watch you when you're alone. But even that time, you'll have to have that. Why? Cleansing yourself. No, I'm already so clean. I took a bath. I did so many good activities, everything. Why should I cleanse myself further? Tell that to the yogi. Yogi is so wonderful that you see Chandan smell comes out of a yogi, certain yogis. And yet they are engaging in purification. Chandan, without applying Chandan, they are emanating that fragrance. How is it possible? Well, that is the Chit Shuddhi, no? They're always Chit Kalyanam Hrudaye Nityam Sevya Seva Sevaka Hitam Swatma Ramoham Bhuma Paramasukhe Svena Swasmin Swayam Brahma. Means that Brahma Jnana is God, but that is God by Chit Kalyana only. And it is Nitya in their hearts. Eternally, I want to keep doing that. That is the aspiration. By renouncing all the objects of sounds and senses, being bereft of anger and repulsive reflexes is actually very interesting. Each Gita shloka, if you study, you can study for an hour each shloka actually. Now we have just looked at introduction, but you yourself now will start reading the Gita in your life. That time you will enjoy. Look at this. Renouncing all objects of sound and senses. Sound we know as one nad is there, Brahmanad is there. Brahmanad can connect you. Sound is also a secret. Secret path to connect with the divine easily. Nada Brahma, they say. But here, renouncing objects of sound in the sense, most of the time, what happens? What is our source of irritation? We are sitting dhyana and suddenly someone makes some sound. First reaction comes from that. Or we get frustrated, we get angry because that person told me this person was talking like this about you. Got it. It's entered through the indriyas, and then fire is coming out of the eyes, from the mouth, from everywhere. Why is it? It has come from the indriyas. So these disturbances of the indriyas, you are able to cut. That is important. Vivik, Vivikta Sevi Lagvashi Yatavak Kaya Manasaha Dhyana Yoga Paro Nityam Vairagyam Samupashritaha. Controlling mind, speech, body, and ignoring materialistic company. Eating moderately for maintaining an inner harmony. Seeking a union with the eternal through regular meditation. Letting go of desires. Gaining absolute renunciation. This is about control, it's about niyantran only. Controlling what? Mind, speech, and body. All three can't be controlled, is what many people say. I can't control my mind, it goes anywhere. Speech, please don't talk about speech. That's too difficult. I'll speak whatever I want. I am free. I've got the constitutional right to speak whatever I want. Nobody can come in between. And Sharira, my choice. I'll do what I want. Yogi does not do that. Bhogi does that. So there's a difference between a yogi and bhogi. Bhogi has other side effects of these wrong actions, isn't it? So yogi is controlling the mind at all times. Speech also, body also, sharira also. Ignoring materialistic company. What does that mean? What happens most of the time? People meet parties, what we say, kiddie parties, everything happen, isn't it? And people also, guys also meet for something and they try to, I don't know, sometimes they pretend they are talking. And my friends also, they talk about world level discussions. I don't know what world level discussions people can do when you're having a glass of alcohol in your hand. You're not able to think or focus too high. But whatever it is, not going back into. What I'm saying is, with gossiping, can you really achieve anything great through gossiping? Only through gossip. No, not at all, not at all. Like I met a very interesting group, a diverse group of youngsters and elderly people. They would meet every week in Ahmedabad. It was my first experience to see such a company where they're all connected, all are from different professions, but all are it's a spiritual company. It's not a materialistic company. And that state is also a dry state, so there's no question of lowering consciousness with food. Only thing is, if they overeat the dhoklas and other aspects, it would be a problem. But otherwise, but they all come with a aim of discussing something higher for the society. Each is contributing. This is my kshetra. I can do this. I can do that. They're taking up a project. They're taking up a problem and trying to solve it, and at the same time benefiting each other. Now that is a company which is progressive, isn't it? But otherwise, most companies where people they call you, come, let's have a hangout, let's have fun. What is that fun? You know that person did like this. You know this person is this way. These are all wasted discussions, wasting of consciousness also. Maybe you might be doing some great sadhana. You have, grazed your tapobola. You go there and you empty. It's like opening the tap and emptying the tank. It's something like that. All the consciousness that you have gathered is getting scattered. Just like imagining a child throwing, like collecting all the marbles, and suddenly the marbles fall down. They go everywhere, isn't it? This is what happens. So the yogi says, I don't want to do things which will lower my consciousness. So I'll avoid this company. If nothing productive is going to come out, not for me, not for the other person, why should I go? Why should I? There is no compulsion. Eating moderately for maintaining an inner harmony. Inner harmony. Do we need a nutritionist to tell us what is required for our inner harmony? Actually, if you are conscious, you understand. I have my own sister as a dietitian and nutritionist, so I'm not trying to say anything about the profession. It's a brilliant profession. People need when they have certain difficulties. It is most important to get a consultation, I would say. But maintaining inner harmony, you only have to give that inner information to that nutritionist so that the nutritionist can actually tell you, can help you. So your inner harmony, your inner rhythm, nobody else can decide. You have to. Look at nature also, isn't it? All animals, how are they healthy? How are they, where are they learning? Because they've understood, they are balancing with the rhythm of nature. Our bodies also are having a rhythm. We have a rhythm which, moves. It moves actually with even the heavenly bodies. We don't realize it. We are not conscious of it. That does not mean it's not. The moon has an effect on us also. Everybody it has. The cycle of the moon sometimes is the same as inside of the, even males as well as females. The cycle is there inside, only people don't understand it. So understanding that inner rhythm is important. Seeking a union with the eternal through regular meditation. Dhyana, that is why it is recommended, it is important. Do it regularly, is what Krishna is saying. Letting go of desires, gaining absolute renunciation or vairagya. That's what Krishna is talking about. What does it imply? Lakshana. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham parigraham vimuncha nirmamaha shanto brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Discarding egoism, anger, and arrogance, desire, possessiveness, and violence. Of all feelings of proprietorship, when one is free to become the Brahman, one is fit to be. Krishna is saying we can become fit enough, worthy enough to be one, experience the Brahmic consciousness. Anybody has heard of any householder attaining Brahmic consciousness? Any examples? Every culture, Bharat is such a rich land that you go any part of the country, go to any village also, any state, you will find somebody. Any examples anybody can think of? Realized saints who are living that way, ordinary lives also. Any names?
Bahina.
Ah, Dr. Vidisha ji said Bahina Bai Chaudhary. For her, she had dialogues with Ma Saraswati. How is it possible? Somebody who has no education. She didn't learn Sanskrit. In fact, the Marathi she spoke was not also the regular Marathi spoken by most of the state. It was a dialect. Yet she had discussions. Sant Tukaram, again, another. So many. Every place we have so many. Tulsi Das, Kabir Das. How all of this is. It is individuals who have taken up that decision to rise in consciousness. तुलसी तुलसी सब कहे तुलसी बन की घास हो गई कृपा प्रभु राम की बन गए तुलसीदास. It is a कृपा मूकम करोति वाचालम. Krishna says ददामि बुद्धि योगम tam. What should you do? You should become adhikari for that buddhi. You should become a patra for that buddhi. Dana is going to happen, no? Krishna will do sattvic dana only, no? If he has to do. Will he do rajasic dana? He has only taught us sattvic dana. So desha kala patra. So create the desha, means place. Create the kala. Bring that time. Make that time come. How can we manifest time? With karma. Become. Make that time arrive. It can be done. Human efforts and human aspirations, they are also quite obstinate. We can, with our efforts, continuous human efforts. And Patra, if we are all divine, aren't we all Patra also? Yes, yes. But then for that, we'll have to remove what is the lower consciousness. Then we will receive. Krishna is waiting to give. He's got thousands and thousands of heads. So much wisdom he wants to pass on. Problem is, we are all saying, हाँ मेरे पास बहुत है, मत देना मुझे. Who can give? Somebody who has. Who can receive? Somebody who does not have. Problem is everybody thinks they have so much. So they say, nahi chahiye. So Krishna is saying of all feelings of proprietorship, one is free. I am not the owner. Who is the owner then? Divine is the owner. Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. Such a person who has experienced this. No desire inside, no possessiveness, violence is literally just gone. Soldier fighting can be non-violent also, just as a surgeon can be non-violent while doing surgery. How is it? Well, when consciousness is done and it is your swadharma that you're following. So one can become fit, is what Krishna is saying, to become the Brahman. Brahma bhutah prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samaha sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. When one becomes the Brahman of the liberated self, how? By engaging in the purification of oneself. So Krishna has not simply for time past told us two meditation techniques. We have to practice it. He's given it. That means now we have a duty. Swadharma, not a compulsion. We have to feel it. Self-discipline, not imposed. Otherwise, it will be real. Nobody will pick up the Gita only. Everybody knows 18th Adhyay. Krishna said, I have told you 18 Adhyayas now. Now that I have told you 18 Adhyayas, you must do this in return. Immediately people run away. No, Krishna is practicing what he is preaching also. So he does not ask us. It's up to us, but he has told us what are the benefits. So when one becomes the Brahman of the liberated self, by engaging in the purification of oneself, neither grieving nor desiring, and perceiving all to equal be, with a love supreme and devotion, those souls verily attain me. Again, Shraddha, Bhakti, love has come into the picture. This is a singular emotion which can, add what we can say, boost us to our sadhana. It can push us quickly ahead. But what should it be? It should be a love that is not having any attachments, love that is having no expectations. And you're able to see oneness in all. If something bad happens, you're not going into what we can say the crying gang, immediately starting tears continuously. Emotionally, people get attached in lower emotions also. You're not on that side also. And in the good moments, you're not trying to get excited and show off. Yeah, I'm so good, I'm so great, or I'm so happy. Yeah, be happy. Sit quietly and smile quietly. That's also possible. Instead of jumping around all the time. That's not required. Krishna says, with you love, with a love supreme and devotion, when you have this combination, Krishna says, those souls are come to me. They attain to me. Means they attain to my status. Krishna goes on. He says, भक्त्या माम अभिजानाति यावन् यश्चास्मि तत्त्वतः ततो माम तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तदनन्तरम्. He who by devotion evolves to know me about all my vast existences that can be, my reality and principle, he truly understands. Uniting with my consciousness, supreme he stands. So bhakti becomes a source of our evolution. This is interesting. You can evolve, start, as your bhakti grows, you begin to understand more about the divine. This morning, I had a conversation with a delight family member whose son was writing poetry with some kind of negative overtones, where some questions were there which seemed atheistic or which seemed very negative. So she was wondering what's happening. Is he going in the right direction? Is he going in the wrong direction? I said, you're telling to the wrong person. I had written one of my first poems were absolutely atheistic. The gods now are sleeping, it seems, for they respond not to mortal screams. This cruel trick, why has fate played, and why does our pain not jade? And it was going on, it was just negative. One of the first aspects. But that was the time when bhakti was not yet fully cultivated. But as bhakti started cultivating, I started understanding yes, there is divine. Divine is guiding. Divine is guiding whom? Not only me because I said his name. Divine is guiding the universe. Divine is functioning. There is a game. So what happens? Bhakti allows us to raise our consciousness. Bhakti allows us to understand more. Bhakti allows us to grow. So sometimes we have only intellectual knowledge. It's of no use. Shraddha must come from the heart. It's like otherwise it's dry knowledge without bhakti inside, without shraddha. This is my Aradhya, one person told me, and after 10 years, that Aradhya's photo is not there in the house because I did not get good returns from my Aradhya. Now I have a new Aradhya. I mean, you can worship another, but the very fact, this shows what? That the Shraddha is itself basically driven by what returns I am getting. That is not Shraddha. So Shraddha has to be pure, and as Shraddha grows, you also start growing so much that your consciousness becomes one with the divine. Example, every saint that we know of. They've all raised their consciousness through their bhakti only. Krishna goes on, Sarva karmanyapi sada kurvano madavya pashrayah mat prasada davapnoti shashvatam padam avyayam. And when in me in the sense in my consciousness, when in me he is situated firmly, all his actions he performs verily. By my grace, he attains the eternal, thus uniting with the Creator supernal. So, what is Krishna saying? His grace come. This is another word which can become for a bhakta. It is a promise. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. For somebody, it means that I'm going to get good returns for a policy that I have subscribed from some organization. But for another person, it is Krishna's promise. And that promise is so much that you don't even worry about which policy it is. What are my returns at the time of maturity at all? Nothing. You have become one. You understand. Divine will take care. I know of an auto driver who started a old age home in Pondicherry. It was in when we were in school. He used to drive autos for my own classmate only, another batchmate. So when I just met him in first time, I was so shocked. I was so surprised and wow, what a transformation. But I went closer to him. Then we did some cleaning there. We talked around, and then I found out that he's actually in a very dire financial strait. But he is so calm. He says God arranges. He said just last week I was wondering what will I feed all the elderly women in my home. And then one person came and said, "This was my father's last wish, so I want to feed for the entire week." It's like, see, God is arranging. So this aspect, divine, why should this person think about divine when he's seeing undivine human beings everywhere, throwing people away, wanting to hurt people, all so many things. False cases were filed against him also. All this was happening by humans only, no? And there is no picture of God there. So somebody will become the worst skeptic. Instead, he is feeling so much love and adoration. He says, He's only keeping me, He's only driving me, He's only teaching me. Well, this is the thing. When in me he is situated firmly, all his actions he performs verily. By my grace, he attains the eternal, thus uniting with the Creator supernal. Such ones only rise. Difficult moments come in life. Don't say, God, please give me more difficulties so I understand you better. Because who knows, he may listen. Then we'll have problem. Instead, when the moment of difficulty comes to us, use it as an opportunity to try to remain balanced. Nothing more. It's not so challenging. Yeah, you must immediately, when difficult moment comes, full Vishnu Sahasranam, you must quickly say, no, that's okay. Say it if you can, say it if you do not, no problem. Try learning it, whatever it is. But balance on the inside. Just because something has not happened according to your will, that should not happen. Because then when you are having what Krishna said, no, asakta buddhi. The buddhi is also not disturbed. You are not reactive, then Krishna can work. You become like a puppet. Puppet of whom? Not Rajas, not a puppet of Tamas, not even a puppet of Sattva, puppet of Krishna only. And that is the Raja or the Rani of the world, somebody who is driven by the divine himself. Krishna says, Chetasa sarva karmani, mai sanyasya matpara, buddhir yogam apashritya, mat chittaha sadatam bhava. By surrendering oneself completely to me, when all actions and thoughts can devoted be, through yoga, when one incessantly strives, uniting the heart and mind, in my shelter, he arrives. Means full surrender. Full surrender is what? Sashtanga Namaskara? No. Full surrender is absolutely complete one. Sometimes it takes lifelong. You say, I have surrendered. I'm not going to question. I'm going to listen. But what happens? Your own nature comes in between. Your own nature creates all the difficulties. So that is what Krishna is saying. And then there's an interesting aspect here. Uniting the heart and the mind. In my shelter, he arrives. Means heart and mind, can they ever be one? Most of the time, Kurukshetra is between heart and mind only going on inside. Heart is saying one thing, mind is saying another thing. You don't know whom to listen. Hey, last time I listened to the heart, I had problem. So this time I listen to mind, again I'm having problem. Whom should I listen to? Both are opposite or what is going on? We get confused, we don't understand. We begin to blame ourselves, we blame our heart, we blame our mind. Well, if your actions are truly devoted, your thoughts also you are able to channelize, you become one, so does your heart and mind also. Krishna says, Mat chittaha sarva durgani mat prasada tarishyasi atha chetva mahankaranna shrosyasi vinangshasi. When the mind and the heart become one, united with me, all your battles are won. At the time of peril, they are safe passage. I assuage. There's a typing mistake in the book. At the times of peril, they are safe passage. I assuage. Only if the self ego still prevails, one falls into hell's cage. So what happens, Krishna says, when the mind and the heart have become one, there is no dvandva at all. And your yuddha is over. He's telling whom? He's telling Arjuna before Kurukshetra. He's saying your yuddha is already over if you are become one in these two. Because if you are one, the divine will take care. The divine will see you through. in the difficult moments. All those moments, the hand, that adrushya hath, they say Guru Eka Jagit Rata. How is the divine? He is like that. The Guru is also like that. The hand comes to prevent you from falling, to raise you to a higher state. When will it not work? Only when there is ahankar. And if ahankar is not there, divine help will come to you and it will go back because you have refused it. So ahankar is what must be lost. And that is why we have to again and again be conscious and do sadhana. He tells Arjuna also very clearly. If he had told the shloka in the first adhyay, 18 adhyayas would not be required. What is he saying here? He says, Yad ahankaram ashritya na yotsya iti manyase mithyaisha vyavasayaste prakritistvam niyokshati. It's like, better I've seen you from the beginning. I know what you will do ultimately. He's saying clearly, he says, it's because you are taking refuge in your ego. This battle you are seeking to forego. I will not fight, you vainly say, but your inner nature will make you spar anyway. Krishna is telling, like a mother says to the child says, today I'm going to have upas, I'm not going to eat anything. It's like, yeah, yeah. 2 hours later, she already readies something and keeps, he is going to come in 2 hours. Why? Now it's in the mind only. Body is not yet ready. That oneness has not been taken. Same thing in Arjuna's case. Krishna is saying, you have ahankar inside, so you're sitting, you are disturbed. What will happen if he hears the news of someone who is close to him has fallen? Will that Kshatriya again remain sleeping in tamas? Then the fire will awaken, and then you will anyway. He says, see, I will not fight you vainly say. This is a vain statement, actually, what you have made. Your inner nature is the Kshatriya's nature. Now the lion may be sleeping and crying. But when that lion awakens, it will again fight only. That is there, is what he's saying. He goes on clearly saying, Swabhavajena कौन्तेय निबद्ध स्वेन कर्मणा कर्तुम नेच्छसि यन्मोहात् करिष्यस्य करिष्यस्य वशोऽपि तत्. See, this is the power of Prakriti. The mother of Sri Aurobindo Ashram also has said, you do it or you will be forced to do it. Nature is like that. Prakriti's functioning is this way. How many of us like to be forced and then only do something? Do we have to be forced? If we can do it by our own free will. Because when you are forced, there's no ananda, no? You're doing it out of compulsion, not out of free will. It's a lot of differences there. You're doing by free will, it is different. So this is what Krishna says. He says, because of delusion, you do not desire. To fight this battle, you seem not to aspire. Oh Arjuna, in it you will ultimately have to partake. If not for your own, you will be forced for your nature's sake. Because has Arjuna risen out of his nature's control? No. He's still very much under the influence of Prakriti, isn't it? Tamas Guna entered into him. Then next Rajas will come. That is the flow actually. First Tamas, then comes Rajas. Finally, when Rajas also is lost and defeated, and then comes the Sattva. So this is what Krishna is telling. He goes on further. You'll be lost for your nature's sake. ईश्वरः सर्वभूतानां हृद्येशेऽर्जुन तिष्ठति भ्रामयन् सर्वभूतानि यन्त्रारूढानि मायया. The Lord that is seated within every living heart, O Arjuna, he steers and initiates everything start. Like machines, all creatures are made to obey and act as per the will of his Maya's way. We saw it in the Vishwarupa, isn't it? All the great heroes were rushing into that fiery mouth because Prakriti is quite powerful. We don't realize, we suddenly look at Purusha and then we say, I'm worshipping Purusha, so now I'm powerful enough to deal with Prakriti. No, Prakriti is like that, so powerful. This is why we have to do sadhana to escape from the full, slavery of Prakriti. We don't have to become slaves of Prakriti. We have to understand Prakriti and then with our free will rise in consciousness. Otherwise, Prakriti's game is there and Prakriti's movement is sometimes quite slow as well. Krishna says he steers. Who? The divine. Where is the divine located? Door number, address, everything is there in the heart of human beings. Which human being? Not that human being, us, inside of our own heart. We have to recognize that. And like machines, all creatures are made to obey and act as per the will of his Maya's way. Many times we make life plans, isn't it? I want to do this, I want to do that. This, that, so many things we plan. Ultimately, something else happens because some other force is driving us. A moment is taking place. Now, for the first time, Krishna tells clearly to Arjuna, he says, Tameva Sharanam Gacha. Take the Sharana of the divine. Tameva Sharanam Gacha. How? Sarva Bhavena Bharata. Tat Prasadat Param Shantim. Sthanam Prapsyasi Shashvatam. Seek refuge in him in every way. O Arjuna, verily in every single way, every possible way you seek refuge, Arjuna, is what Krishna is telling him. Why? Because for his by his grace, the supreme peace you can attain and the eternal status you can obtain. Seek refuge, surrender. The mother of Sri Aurobindo Ashram says, even all your body's cells must consciously participate in surrender. Arjuna surrenders in a life, it's like slowly improving, becoming over the adhyayas, we saw a difference in him. But we don't have to wait for an entire lifetime to understand the meaning of surrender, isn't it? If we lose our ahankar, we can surrender at one moment also to the divine. That is important. Because take refuge every way you can, every possible way, Krishna is saying. Why? When you take his refuge, what happens when a refugee goes to a country where the refugee is seeking asylum because he's being tortured in another country? Freedom, isn't it? Shanti, isn't it? Peace, isn't it? Something like that in our life, we are facing so many troubles. Where are we going to? We take refuge in wrong places. Imagine going into a terrorist nation and seeking refuge from one place, frying pan to fire. Why? Why are we taking refuge in human beings and then feeling sad that this person also dumped me, this person also cheated me, this person also took advantage of me? Seek refuge in the divine. He's present in your heart. He will tell you that hero you are searching for is inside only. You don't have to go searching elsewhere. But first, take that Sharan, no? Sharana is important. Sharana is the first part of any Adhyatmic sadhana. That is why the Buddhist part begins with Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Sangam Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami. Because going, Krishna is also telling now in the 18th Adhyay, after Arjuna has understood everything, he is saying this. Tameva Sharanam Gaccha. After this, what? Nothing to this. This is all that Krishna has said. Because he tells him, Iti te jnanamakhyatam गुह्यात् गुह्यतरं मया विमृश्यैतत् अशेषेण यथेच्छसि तथा कुरु. After teaching 18 adhyayas, what is he saying? Krishna is telling Arjuna, I spent so much time telling you, Arjuna, now you must become my gulam. No, he's saying yathetchasi tatha kuru, meaning you want to now run away from the battle? Run away if you want. Run, quick, quick. Even he's saying, you do what you want. Yet, hey, Chasi Tatha Kuru, this is the beauty of Sanatan Dharma. The divine himself is not ordering Arjuna to fight because I command you. I have given you the knowledge. Now use that knowledge to choose your path freely and independently. Thus, to you, Arjuna, I have fully revealed. I've said everything. Syllabus complete. Everything is over. He's saying, I've told everything. I have fully revealed the most secret knowledge I have unveiled. So now, by taking my cue, your mode of action, you are free to do. But Arjuna is a great bhakta, isn't it? So bhakti always has its perks. So he gets a little bonus. Gita is technically over here when he says Yathechasi Tathakuru. But he adds something else. He says, Sarvagohya tamam bhuyaha Shrunume paramam vacha इष्टोऽसि मे दृढमिति ततो वक्ष्यामि te hitam. Yet another secret here for me, for I shall explain. As you are my devotee, I hold your mane. You are to me most intimate and dearest. Hence, I shall say to you what is best. This is because you have bhakti, you are my dear friend, you are my dear lover, you are my shishya. So I will tell you extra, he says. I'll give you something more. What is it? मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैशसि सत्यं ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोऽसि मे. Has this shloka come before anybody? Manmana bhav madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Yes. Anybody remembers?
Chapter 9, Shloka 34.
Chapter 9, shloka 34. Can we
I
just look
think there
at that
was
once?
some one word different, no? You had mentioned at
Yes,
that time.
yes, yes, yes. Just look at, let us look at that for a moment. The last shloka of the ninth Adhyay. What is this ninth Adhyay? It's the Rajavidya. What is it talking about? You see, it's here same thing. Man mana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Mame vaishyasi yuktva atmanam matparayana. So here it is atmanam matparayana. Here it says Mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. There he was talking about sacrifice unto me, unite me with your mind, myself supreme, you shall learn, you shall experience, you shall find, going to me with love, when me alone you adore. He says, you are going to open the door for the divine union. This is what is there in the ninth Adhyaya of Rajavidya. Here, what is the difference? First step you should take. Second step, the beloved will take. That is the promise. He says, means you raise your hand, you make a call, stretch it out, and he will pull it. But you have to make the first. Atithi Devo Bhava, we say, but then what? Open the door. No. You open the door, then Atithi will come in, and then the Deva will take care. So the second part, what is he saying? Merge into my consciousness. So into Krishna's consciousness, he's asking it, become one. Merge into my consciousness. Become my lover. Become my sacrifice. Be my adorer. Bow to me, and you shall come to me certainly. My dear one, this is my promise. I shall fulfill verily. Krishna says, it is my promise to my bhaktas. My man or apman happens, I don't care. But my bhaktas apman, I will not allow it to happen. Something like that he's saying. I says, I will fulfill. Next part is mine. Take the first part. What is that first part? Surrender. Surrender. Love unconditionally the divine. I will take care of the next part, is what he's saying. Next comes the beautiful shloka. सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः. Don't worry, moksha, I will give it to you. I will liberate you. What should you do? सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज. Renounce all your dharmas that you rigidly own. Surrender to me and seek my refuge alone. From all your sins and evil, I shall relieve. I shall bring deliverance. Do not grieve. This very shloka, I had one elderly friend of mine online. Virtual friends sometimes are fun and sometimes not so much fun. He, this is what is the essence of this shloka. The meaning is about surrendering your rigid understanding of dharma. I think somebody had asked about Bhishma's mistake, isn't it? I do not remember. It was, I think, I'm not sure. It was either Binaji or it was Binaji? Yeah. Yes. So Bhishma's mistake is he is holding on to Bhishma Pratignya. Bhishma's dharma is over everything else. Because my Swadharma teaches me this, so I am having attachment to my dharma only. But isn't Krishna dharma higher than all other dharmas? If your dharma towards the divine is there, that that is the highest dharma, isn't it? in front of that dharma, all other dharmas become what we can say minuscule. You cannot, it's nothing. It is nothing in front of that. So surrender to that. And one interesting is when you are surrender to Krishna Dharma, all dharmas fall in place also. You don't have to do that calculation and worrying. He said, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Because when you individually try to balance all dharmas, then the problem happens. So this is what Krishna is saying. Surrender from all your sins and evils. I shall relieve. I shall bring deliverance. Do not grieve. Arjuna, do not grieve at all. Forget all papa punya. I will take care. So our if we want to draw an inference or something from this shloka, it's that we must recognize the Krishna dharma. How do we understand that dharma? Our heart will tell us my duty towards Krishna. Is it right? What is my duty towards Krishna? Krishna dharma will supersede all other dharma. Otherwise, what happens? A husband says, I have a dharma towards my wife, I have a dharma towards my son, I have dharma towards daughter, I have dharma towards my job, I have dharma towards this. It's like, but I have only two hands, how can I juggle so many dharmas? It's impossible. You become too confused. It's like, I go after this dharma and I'm doing so much, getting tired, and I'm not able to fulfill. Everybody's saying I'm being hopeless. Instead, you surrender to Krishna. Watch what happens. All fall in place because you have now gone to that higher consciousness. He says moksha cannot be easier than this. Krishna says, I will ensure that. So ensure your surrender. Your part must be clear, crystal clear. Let's go on. Next, what should we do? We've learned the Gita. So let's go preaching the Gita. No, no, no. Next shloka Krishna tells. He says, no, I'm not asking you to go preach. Idam idam te na tapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha shushrushave vachyam na cha mam yogya vyasuyati. Speak not this truth to he who performs not penance, or he who lacks faith and dwells in ignorance. Also not to he who performs not any service, and to he who causes the indwelling God disservice. Yes, there's a criteria. Don't speak this, Krishna is saying. Don't go teaching highest principles. These are high principles of life which are going to transform human race. Humanity, whether or not is ready today, we do not know. But a time will come when these principles will become part and parcel of everybody's lives. But here he says, don't go telling this to somebody who has never done any penance, who's never done any tapasya. What will you say? It's a waste telling to him. Or somebody who lacks shraddha, or who prefers to dwell in ignorance. And also to not that person, to not for that person who does not perform any service, and definitely not for that person who is causing the indwelling God only disservice. There's a divine, no, inside of that individual. If this person is going again the basic tenet, don't go. Some people say they are better than Krishna, so they say, I will go and teach this to somebody who does not want to hear. What is the result? Any success anybody has had teaching principles of Gita to your friend who does not want to hear? How many of us have tried? I can start raising my hand only. First, teaching principles of Gita to your friends. Yes, I have tried, I have failed. Okay, Manisha ji also. I have failed. I do not know if Manisha ji experienced something similar. But sunna nahi hai, to no point telling. Shraddha is not there. The service has not been done. What will you teach principles of service? Loka Sangra. He says, I want to do bhoga, I want to enjoy my own personal desires. You are talking about selflessness? Don't teach me. Don't talk nonsense, is what that person will say. So Krishna says, no, this is not for that. This is a manual of life which you must use for practicing. He goes on, Ya idam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshva vidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mame vaishyat sanshayah. He who shall with the most supreme devotion pass over to my devotees this secret declaration. He too shall verily unite and come to me. About this, no doubt can there ever be. But when somebody wants to know sincerely, that person wants to connect. Krishna says, such person is going to become dear to me, who is passing on to that person who deserves to know, who aspires to know. that person will become one with me. Again, that's another promise Krishna has said. He goes on further clarifying. He says, न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन् मे प्रियकृत्तमः भविता न च मे तस्मात् अन्यः प्रियतरो भुवि. And no other man can be nearer, Krishna says. For none shall I hold dearer. 12th Adhyay he said, this Bhakta is Priya. Mad Bhakta Chame Priya. So many he goes on saying. But he says, dearest in the 18th Adhyay, he's saying, none can be more dearer. And no other man can be nearer, for none shall I hold dearer than he who does this task for me. Dearer than him, none can ever be. This task of teaching Krishna's principles, Krishna's teachings to a bhakta who wants to know, whoever does that, he becomes closest to the divine, is what Krishna is saying. Because you are doing divine's work, divine's task. Divine wants to do this, divine wants to lift everybody's consciousness. So you are doing his work, he will be happy, he will be close, you will be closest to him, is what Krishna says. Then what about others? Well, अध्यक्ष्यते च य इमं धर्म्यं संवादमावयोः ज्ञानयोगेन तेनाहम् इष्टः स्यामिति मे मतिः. And also he who studies this discourse, holding our discussions sacred in his life's course, by him too the sacrifice of knowledge will be performed. Becoming my worshipper, he shall be transformed. So, anybody who studies this discourse, the Krishna Arjuna Samvada, with sincerity and Shraddha, that person becomes the priest of a Jnana Yajna. And what will happen? That person will become transformed into a Krishna Bhakta of the divine. Why? It's not brainwashing, it is naturally. Love will flow, isn't it? Naturally, it comes out of adoration. This is what Krishna is talking about. बट व्हाट इफ समबडी हु डज नॉट अंडरस्टैंड पूरा पढ़ लिया फिर भी कुछ समझ में नहीं आया क्या करे नो प्रॉब्लम कृष्ण सेज हियर आल्सो ही सेज श्रद्धावान सूयश्च शृणुयादपि यो नरः सोऽपि मुक्तः शुभान् लोकान् प्राप्नुयात् पुण्यकर्मणाम्. Even the man who merely listens intently, full of faith, devoid of envy, for himself the liberation he shall obtain, and righteous dreams of happiness he'll attain. Means now see one participant, actually she was like a grandmother only for me, and her last moments she was just reading the Gita, that her full family, everybody, her elder sister, younger sister, daughter, granddaughter, everybody was so surprised how she was just into the Gita. And now her daughter has written a commentary on the Gita, and that was her aspiration. But she felt so peaceful, and it was like she was only doing Jnana Yajna continuously, and that was the happiest moment for her, in spite of physical sufferings, all of it. How, what? Well, sincerely, you study, Krishna says that is it, and there's no doubt. In the ICU, during COVID time, she's trying to recite the mantras of the Gita, and she's only saying Krishna and not suffering. So that also Krishna is saying, for himself, the liberation he shall obtain, and the righteous dreams of happiness he'll attain. Just the person who is just listening also sincerely, full of faith, devoid of any envy, devoid of any kind of jealousy. That also is sufficient. That will give liberation, is what Krishna is saying. Even listening. Krishna is not saying understanding, listening. It is so powerful. Now comes the important question. Arjuna has been asking questions, isn't it, to Krishna? So many. 18th Adhyay, Krishna is asking a question. What is it? He says, Kachidetat Shrutam Partha Tvayikagreena Chetasa Kachitagnyana Sammohaha Pranashtaste Dhananjaya. O Arjuna, all that I said, did you intently hear with a concentrated mind by lending your ear? Has delusion's veil been lifted? O Arjuna, has your ignorance been obliterated? He's asking to the same Arjuna who had told, isn't it? Karpanya dosho kahata svabhava. I'm scared, Krishna. I'm afraid. I do not know what to do, what is going to happen. I don't see light. That same Arjuna, Krishna is asking this question right now. Were you listening? Or were you daydreaming? What I was talking right now. Did you hear? He's asking with a concentrated mind. What happened to that delusion that was inside of you? Has your ignorance gone? It's almost like he's teasing, no? It's just, Abhi, are you still having that? Now comes the voice of Arjuna. It's a different Arjuna. He is our Parantapa. He is the hero that everybody knows. Arjuna Uvacha. Nashto mohaha smrutirlabdhva त्वत्प्रसादान्मयाच्युत स्थितोऽस्मि गतसन्देहः करिष्ये वचनं तव. My delusion is destroyed. My memory has returned. O Krishna, by your grace alone things have thus turned. I am now firm in my resolve. With all doubts cleared, I shall now act as per thy golden words that I have heard. Krishna said, Yathechasi tatha kuru. He says, I choose to walk in the direction you have shown me, in the direction of your golden words. I am free and I independently choose to walk this path that you have shown. That is Arjuna. And Arjuna says, Yes, I have forgotten all those, what we can say, dark moments are gone now. I now know what is my strength. With confidence, he is again speaking. I'm firm in my resolve. All my doubts are cleared now. I don't have any doubts. This is different. Different Arjuna. Our Arjuna had only doubts. Let us see. But now this is also our Arjuna only, isn't it? This is a new Arjuna which probably we should relate to also. And Arjuna is to be worshipped because when you have Arjuna consciousness, Krishna consciousness will flow into you. First, cultivate that at least. Ready to learn like the great master archer. Sanjay Uvacha. Sanjay is speaking. We are forgetting Dhritarashtra. Only one person who is unhappy with a happy ending. Let us see. Dhritarashtra, what is he saying? Sanjay Uvacha. Sanjay is telling him, Ityaham Vasudevasya Parthasya cha Mahatmanah Samvadamimam Ashrausham Adbhutam Romaharshanam. Thus I heard the words of Krishna, the divine Lord, and also that of the pious Arjuna, his precious word. So wondrous it was for me to understand that it has caused my hair at their ends to stand. He's saying, I'm having goosebumps, just thinking of this dialogue, which was divine between Krishna and Arjuna over so many factors of life in the middle of a battlefield. Just visualizing it, he's saying, that pious Arjuna and that beautiful Krishna, so wondrous it was. It was Adbhuta. व्यासप्रसादात् एतत् श्रुतवान् एतत् गुह्यमहं परं योगं योगेश्वरात् कृष्णात् साक्षात् कथयतः स्वयं. See, he's feeling gratitude. Gratitude towards whom? To Vyasa. Because of him, I got this chance. Otherwise, this is another beautiful principle we can understand. Sanjay is this Kritagnyata. We should always have that. When we have gratitude, even less is more. We may have very little, but that also appears so much. But here he says, through the grace of Vyasa, the mystic sage, this king of secrets, I was able to envisage from the Lord of Yoga, Krishna himself, who verily declared the secret of yoga itself. I learned from Yogeshwara Krishna, Sakshat from Yogeshwara. He came to tell to me and I heard from him directly. I cannot believe my luck, is what he's saying. Rajan Sansmritya Samvadamivam Adbhutam Keshavarjunayoho Punyam Rishyami cha Mahurmahu. O King, this sacred discourse I am reminiscing again and again. I am ecstatically remembering. O Krishna and Arjuna, I celebrate their conversation repeatedly. I'm rejoicing in jubilation. He says, I'm remembering Punaha Punaha. Again and again, I'm remembering this beautiful conversation. I celebrate their conversation with ecstasy. He's saying, I'm remembering it and I'm rejoicing. तच्च संस्मृत्य संस्मृत्य रूपम अत्यद्भुतम हरेः विस्मयो मे महान राजन नृष्यामि च पुनः पुनः. I also distinctly remember that marvelous sight of Lord Krishna bathed in the divine light as he displayed his form resplendent. I again rejoice for witnessing that vision transcendent. Krishna is saying, I mean, Arjuna, our Sanjay is saying, he's saying, I remember, how can I forget the Vishwarupa? How from the mortal envelope of Krishna I suddenly saw that Vishwarupa. He says, again, I'm remembering that when Krishna was bathed in that supreme divine light, as he displayed his form transcendent, I'm rejoicing that vision. And what happens in that? The last shloka, he forgets whose side he is on. He declares the truth, what is going to happen. Like modern day journalists also, they forget neutrality. So here also, Sanjay, he declares what's going to happen. He says, Yatra, Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir, Matir Mamaha. Wherever there is the Lord of Yoga, Krishna. Wherever there is the master archer, Arjuna, there exists the seal of divine victory and prosperity and glory for righteousness. Thus, I proclaim with certainty. So, Krishna says, Sanjay says, wherever there is Yogeshwara Krishna, wherever there is Arjuna, there is going to be victory of the divine. There's going to be prosperity, glory for righteousness. This is my declaration. I, Sanjay, say so. Something like that, Sanjay is saying. So, with this, our journey into the Gita is complete. Why I said into the Gita? Because Gita is, I have only touched on the surface of the Gita. What you are going to study afterwards, that will be the real Gita. It is something which is a lifelong journey. It's something which you will have to go deeper and deeper. So before I complete, there is something called 19th Adhyay of the Gita. I would ask the older participants who have joined again not to reveal that. For the newer participants, can you tell me what could this 19th Adhyay be? Because I remember Damleji asking this question. I was only scratching my head. और एक अध्याय है नहीं है? What is it? And it was early in the morning, and around 4:30 that time, Damleji had asked before we went on a walk. So, what is this 19th Adhyay of the Gita? And I gave some answer. He was like, "Ha, theek hai." One other person gave another answer. Then so many other answers came. Before I share what Damleji said, I would request you. Can someone tell me? What do you think? Yes, Vinitaji.
Is it something that we have to write for ourselves
We have to.
based on our understanding of what of the past 18 chapters?
So
The
we have
chapter
to
that
write.
we write for ourselves, in the
Write in
sense,
the
in
sense, literally
practice.
write it. We
No,
practice.
practice.
Okay. Okay, that's wonderful. The first answer is the correct answer. Yes, absolutely, Vinitaji. Yes, this is the 19th Adhyay. This is the Adhyay which is not in any book. You'll not find it in any other book. Hare Krishna Arjuna dialogue happened 5,000 years back. Damliji said like that only. But what about you? When is your dialogue going to start? So that dialogue between you and Krishna, where you become the Arjuna and Krishna in your heart becomes your life Sarathi. Then that is the 19th Adhyay. And how is the 19th Adhyay going to be? It's going to be different for every person. It will not be the same. No copyright violation or anything. You're having that freedom. Each of us can choose what that 19th Adhyay is. If I think in the last session, and one more request, I request all participants, please turn on video feeds. Tomorrow, I will not ask you to turn on video feeds. Yeah. So can some of you just share before we conclude? It was a very, what we can say, wonderful journey for me. I Thank you for tolerating so many days. I've been like a Kalasur, eating all your time for so many days. Now you'll all have extra 1 hour in the evening times. So you can choose, you can follow your 19th Adhyay. But I would request, can everybody share? How many ever wants to share what your 19th Adhyay is going to be? Just like that. Anything. What is your 19th Adhyay from the 18 chapters of the Gita? What do you think? Yes, Anjuji.
Surrender,
Your 19th
surrender,
Adhyay is about surrender.
surrender to
Ji.
the divine and try accepting the things more.
All right. Ji. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, ji. I tried to copy
Uh,
everybody's 19th Adhyay. So, yes, Anjuji has said surrendering to the divine. Yes. Anybody else? Okay, Kalpana ji.
It's a process of surrendering and which is not very easy. So
Okay.
actually, I would like to participate once again in this 54 days
Actually,
next
this is going,
this.
no, there is going to
And
be a long while
so when
before a
it
new
becomes
batch
like
is started.
imbibing into you, then only I
Yeah.
think we can go ahead with this.
Ji.
Because there are, I suppose, some participants in our this group also who are, I think, repeating the class or they
Yeah.
are much more enlightened compared to us. So I feel we can
Okay.
go in that process. So when the next program is or the Adhyay you are going to start, do let us know. So
Yes, ji.
those who are interested
Fine.
can do.
So, but you
Because
have
I
declared
don't think
19th Adhyay is going
immediately
to be
I will be
difficult.
able to surrender.
Okay, but you have
It's
said already
difficult for
19th
me.
Adhyay is going to be difficult.
Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is difficult. It's not a
Okay.
very, but the
Okay.
process
Fine.
will be on.
Yes, yeah, all right. But it's going to be a while
Yes.
before we start the
Because
next batch.
meditation
Yes.
and all I'm
Yes.
doing.
Meditation is part. Yes, meditation is
Yeah.
there. Surrender and meditation. Anjuji said that. Yes, Raviji, yes, sir. You were saying something, sir?
Yeah, I think what is important now, we have completed these 18 adhyas. A lot of knowledge has been given from all these 18 adhyas. And we have discussed many, many, many issues in this, you know, which are really applicable, I think, to even the current situation in this world. Now, most important part, as I see, is converting this knowledge into experience is something very important. So
Yes.
we need to experience each of these knowledge bits
Yes,
into
sir.
the life, and that can be done.
Any one principle that you would like to hold on closest to you? If any one you were to single out, like you said, wonderfully, so many are there. Any one, sir?
I think, one of the most important thing is what I feel is that one must do his, whatever 100, give 100% to whatever you are doing.
Okay.
And beyond that, and we are doing this without expectation, but with, you have some
Okay.
aspirations.
Ji,
And
sir.
then rest of it, you leave it to the divine, surrender to the divine and tell divine that I have done my best. Please guide me further. What I
Yes, sir.
should do to
So,
achieve this. And
all
that's
right.
it. If you get it, fine. If you don't get it, but I am 100% sure and confident. And this has been my experience in the past that
Yes, sir.
divine guides you. Once you have
Okay, sir.
experienced this, over it's over. Then
Ji,
I
sir.
am yours and you are mine. It's like this.
Fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Ji, so this is Raviji's 19th Adhyay. Yes, anybody else wishes to share? Yeah.
Self-improvement based on the
Okay.
tips learned
Okay.
here.
Fine, ji. Self-improvement is what Vinita ji has said. Okay. That is her 19th Adhyay. To attain Siddhi, no? Ultimately. Yes. Krishna has told everybody can attain. So we should. All right. Yeah. Anybody else would like to add? After which, and we will look
Hariom.
at a
Try
summary.
to
Yes.
inculcate most of the principles that was explained by Krishna. But the first thing would be to have a control over the senses,
Okay.
be more
In the
tolerant, control
tolerant to
yes,
not reactionary.
yes.
Okay. That is your 19th Adhyay. All right, ma'am. Yes. Okay, Binaji.
Yeah.
Thank you. Vidisha ji wants to share something? Yes, Dr. Vidisha
So,
ji.
firstly, I want to thank you for
Shri Krishna, Pranam, Hariom.
Hariom,
Yes.
for taking us into the journey of Gita. For me, it was like I was reading all the adhyayas for the first time.
Ji.
So surrendering, yes, and second is detachment, which I
Okay.
think need to practice, and
Mukta. One nice way
consistency.
is calling it Mukta Sangha. It
And,
is not cruel. English word detachment is sometimes, yeah, this is, yeah,
and
freedom hai or united bhi hai. United and free at the same time. Yeah. Yes, ji.
and consistency in practicing sadhana, and consistency in remembering all the teachings wherever we
प्रैक्टिकल लेट
learn.
इज
So,
मेरा भी अभी प्रैक्टिकल स्टार्ट होने वाला है थियोरी खत्म हो गया सो अभी कल से प्रैक्टिकल स्टार्ट सो आई थिंक विदिशा जी हैज गिवन द राइट डायरेक्शन एब्सोल्युटली यस
and abiding gunatit is like very, very tough,
that
but
let
at
him
least
do that let Krishna take care of that
but
part
abiding to at least sattvic nature whenever any reactionary or um anything comes up, any reactionary or any
and
situation
upholding
comes up,
swadharma also isn't it upholding the
upholding.
swadharma not being tolerant towards injustice in the name of sattvic nature sometimes that is also a fault that is not to be done yes. All
Yes.
right, ji. Fine. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Dr. Vidisha ji. Hari Om.
Again thankful, again very
Namaskaram.
thankful.
Namaskaram. Hari Om. Yes.
Thank you
Anybody
very
you would like to thank you, ji. Shri Krishna Arpanam. Let us say all thanks to Krishna. Let us fine. Anybody would like to summarize and then we conclude with a Shanti mantra. Yes. Anybody? Anybody and anybody. Yes.
much.
Chitra ji again to the
Okay.
rescue. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So Krishna says that when one has mastered detachment and he also progresses by performing karma phala tyaga, he attains perfection in every action that he performs. And then he goes on to explain the secret of the Brahma Jnana. So a couple of qualities Krishna mentions that one has to shed hatredness, anger, repulsive reflexes, and purifying the inner self, control over the senses, indriyas, mind, speech, body, eating in moderation, letting go of desires, ignore the company of a materialistic group, and dhyana, discarding the ego, no anger or arrogance, ahankara. So one who practices this becomes eligible to attain the state of Brahman, and pure love and devotion towards the divine, and being able to see the divinity in everyone and everything, poised in all situations. Through bhakti, he evolves and understands the supreme divine and merges with the supreme consciousness ultimately. And by surrendering oneself completely to the divine, when all the actions and thoughts are devoted to the divine, when the dvandva between the mind and heart no longer exists, he is under the shelter of the divine. And Krishna says Arjuna that he is not willing to fight because of his he is still a refugee of his ego, and make him take the right action anyway. Says this to Arjuna. And he also tells Arjuna that he has to take refuge in the supreme divine and in every single way
Yeah.
because
Because
of
just one moment, last one small moment is one thing Krishna is telling that see, because you have taken Sharanagati of Ankar, that is why you are not fighting, but your inner nature will. But sometimes that would be too late also, isn't it? Imagine if Arjuna first walked away and then there would be mass casualties on Pandavan's side. So that does not mean that just because of Ankar we have gone away and then later things will be same when we are forced. When we are forced, things are going to be more dire and more complicated. That is why we shouldn't wait for a difficult, we don't want a punch from divine, no? We don't want to be forced. Something bad must not happen in our life for us to take a decision to walk on the right path. It is as simple as that. Yes, Ji. You were also saying the same thing. Just wanted to clarify. Yeah.
So it is because of the divine's anugraha one can attain shanti and the eternal sthana. And Krishna says that he has revealed the most sacred knowledge, and asks Arjuna to choose his path forward. And Krishna says that it is his promise to his dearest bhakta that one who merges into his consciousness is the one who loves him unconditionally, and one who bows to him will definitely attain him. This is Krishna's promise. And he says that renounce all your dharmas, that is the rigidity, and surrender to Krishna and seek his refuge alone. He will forgive all the sins and liberate him. And Krishna also says that don't pass this to those who don't believe or lack the desire to know this sacred knowledge. And one who does the divine service by carrying this knowledge forward to those who desire to know is Krishna's dearest. And also, one who studies this Krishna Arjuna Samvada also gets transformed. And one who listens also with utmost faith and with no enmity inside also has gains of happiness and liberation. And Arjuna says that all his doubts are cleared and his resolve is clear. And then Sanjaya says that he is grateful to Vyasa Maharshi for bestowing him, that allowed him to listen to this magnificent conversation, and also the Vishwarupa Darshana that he got that gives him Ananda again and again whenever he thinks of it. And Sanjay ultimately declares that the victory is on the side where Krishna is.
Ji. Yes. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Where there is Krishna and where there is an Arjuna listening to Krishna, there is going to be a victory. So we must become Arjuna and have the Krishna inside of us. We will all be 100% successful only. So I think with this, I'm going to take your leave, but very blessed and grateful to be connected with all of you. It was like a family meeting for me every day. So I'm going to miss everyone. Uh, I would say, and one more thing before I forget, those who wish to remain connected, there's a group called Krishna's Delight Family. There they meet once a week, twice a month. Once for we are reading a book called Correspondence with Sri Aurobindo by Dr. Nirudbaran, and there is once there's a Bhakti Gita. One this is a group which is self-regulated, democratic group. They decided we should have Bhakti elements, so they started organizing. One of the group members only is taking the Bhakti Gita, so everybody chants whether or not they are very good in Surah or not. That doesn't make a difference. So that is the. If I'll share the link for anybody. So I think with this, let's conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Hari Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् हरि ओम तत्सत् कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. So all the very best for everybody for your 19th Adhyay, and I request everyone to give me your blessings that my theory के बाद का practical which I'm going to start, I do it right. So Hari Om, Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Punarmilava. Yes,
Thank you.
Punarmilava. We may meet sometime again.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank
much.
you very
Hari Om.
much.
Namaskaram ji.
Yeah, Hari
Hari
Om.
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 Hari Om. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank
Yes.
you. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, ji. Namaskaram. Jai Shri Krishna. Yeah, if there are no queries, no doubts, I close the. Yes. Anybody has anything to ask or share? You are welcome, or I conclude. Yeah. All right.